Has social media become your source of self-worth? What if I told you that the likes, shares, and comments we crave could be destroying us from the inside? In today's world, social media is everywhere. It's the platform where we connect, share, and express ourselves. But beneath the surface lies something darker, the need for validation. Whether we realize it or not, many of us have become addicted to approval from others. Every notification brings a hit of dopamine, making us feel seen and appreciated. But is this real connection, or are we simply chasing the approval of strangers who hardly know us? And at what cost to our mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being? Imagine a young girl scrolling through her Instagram feed. She sees perfectly curated photos of influencers living what appears to be a flawless life. In a moment of vulnerability, she compares herself to these images. She posts a picture of her own, hoping to feel validated by her peers. But instead of receiving the flood of likes she was expecting, she gets a few, barely enough to feel noticed. Her self-worth plummets, and she wonders if she's good enough. This scenario plays out daily for millions of people. Social media platforms have become places where self-esteem is measured by metrics, followers, likes, and comments. When these metrics fall short, feelings of inadequacy, loneliness, and depression creep in. We've unknowingly traded real-world connections for the temporary high of online validation, and it's slowly eroding our sense of self. Let's turn to a timeless story from the Qur'an that highlights the dangers of seeking validation from others rather than relying on Allah's guidance. One such story is that of Karen, a man blessed with immense wealth during the time of Prophet Moses, peace be upon him. Karen flaunted his riches, boasting in front of his people, seeking admiration and envy from them. He believed his wealth made him superior, and that it was a sign of his own greatness, forgetting that it was a test from Allah. The people of his time admired his wealth and envied his status. They longed to have what he had, falling into the trap of material validation. But those who were wise reminded them, "What do you? The reward of Allah is better for those who believe and do righteous deeds, and none are granted it except those who are patient." In the end, Karen's arrogance led to his downfall. His wealth, the very thing he sought validation through, was the cause of his destruction, as he was swallowed by the earth along with his riches. To reinforce this lesson, we turn to a powerful verse from the Qur'an that reminds us of where true honor and worth lie. Whoever desires honor, then to Allah belongs all honor. To him ascends good speech, and righteous work raises it. This verse beautifully highlights that our dignity and self-worth are rooted in our relationship with Allah, not in the fleeting praise of people. Allah alone is the source of all honor, and true elevation comes from good deeds and sincerity, not from the validation we seek from the world. When we chase after worldly approval, we turn away from what truly matters, our closeness to Allah and our commitment to righteousness. Now, take a moment to reflect. How much of your self-worth is tied to what others think of you online? Do you find yourself posting only to see how many likes or comments you'll get, or feeling empty when a post doesn't get the response you hoped for? Ask yourself, who is truly benefiting from this cycle of validation? Social media platforms profit from keeping us hooked on approval, while we lose touch with our authentic selves. Consider, if our value came solely from Allah and our good deeds, how liberating would that feel? We wouldn't need to chase admiration from others. We'd find contentment within. Reflecting on this can help us recognize how fragile social media validation is. When we anchor our self-worth in Allah's love and acceptance, we become resilient, knowing that real value isn't something others can give or take away. Islam offers a profound solution to free ourselves from the grip of social media validation, finding self-worth through sincerity, ikhlas, and a deep connection with Allah. By grounding our intentions and seeking His pleasure alone, we become immune to the need for worldly validation. When we strive to do good deeds purely for Allah's sake, our hearts find peace and fulfillment. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever seeks Allah's pleasure by displeasing people, Allah will suffice him against the people. And whoever seeks the pleasure of people by displeasing Allah, Allah will leave him to the people." This hadith reminds us that true contentment comes when we prioritize Allah's approval. If we turn away from the pressures of seeking praise online, we can focus on what truly matters, becoming better people for Allah's sake and helping others. Today, challenge yourself. The next time you post on social media, ask, why am I sharing this? Am I seeking people's approval, or am I sharing something beneficial and genuine? Let's make our intention clear, choosing actions that will bring us closer to Allah and align with His guidance. In doing so, we'll find a peace that no number of likes can provide. As we wrap up, remember that social media can be a tool for connection and inspiration, but it's also a test of our sincerity and self-worth. In a world that pressures us us to seek constant validation. Islam reminds us of a higher purpose, a purpose that doesn't depend on the praise or approval of others. When we anchor our self-worth in Allah, we find a strength that outlasts any trend or fleeting popularity. Let's embrace a life where our value isn't tied to metrics, but to our deeds, our intentions, and our relationship with our Creator. True fulfillment comes from within, and when we let go of the need for online approval, we free ourselves to live authentically, with purpose and inner peace. So, as you close this video, ask yourself, who am I really living for? Seek Allah's pleasure, for in that, you will find a self-worth that cannot be shaken.